All right, hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. This is going to be my very first reaction video. I usually don't like reaction videos, but well, try something new on the channel, and I'm going to do some reaction videos about people traveling in Hong Kong. If you see my channel, you know I drive my motorcycle around Hong Kong and travel to different spots in Hong Kong. So, today is July 1st, so, that's a holiday here in Hong Kong, HKSAR Establishment Day, so I got my Hong Kong t-shirt. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at this YouTube channel, Foreigner Traveling in Hong Kong, and see what she makes of Hong Kong, and see how it differs from my experience as not as a tourist, but as a long-term Hong Kong resident. So go ahead and take a look here. All right, so this YouTube channel, first time in Hong Kong. I've never watched any of her content before. I haven't seen this video, so let's go ahead and see what she says. Okay, so just real quick, she's in the Hong Kong International Airport, a place I know really well. So I go to Hong Kong Airport relatively frequently, and I really love Hong Kong's airport. You know, it's usually voted as one of the best airports in the world, and actually, after traveling around, I think it deserves to be in the top 10, maybe the top 5. Although I think recently they gave themselves the number one ranking, and I think that's maybe pushing it. But yeah, all right. So fancy restrooms, washrooms. Okay, opening a company in China. That's you don't hear too many foreigners going to China to open a company. It's much easier to open a company in Hong Kong. But okay, cool, good for her. Yeah, she has to leave. She said leave the country and do a visa in Hong Kong. She means she needs to leave mainland China. And yeah, that's actually common. I met a teacher who I was traveling in mainland China. Oh, wow. Over a decade ago, I was traveling in mainland China and I met somebody, and she was going to be teaching in Mohan. Yeah, anyways, she was going to be teaching there, and then she was going to do a visa run to Hong Kong because you have to leave mainland China. And yeah, so we met up. Anyways, yeah, so it's common for people to do that. And actually, for my old company that I used to work for, we used to get a lot of first time teachers coming into Hong Kong, and I had to show them the ropes and show them around. And they also had to do visa runs. They had to leave Hong Kong. The most common place we would do the visa runs was to Macau, but occasionally teachers would do a visa run to mainland China. Okay, cool. Yep, Hong Kong International Airport. Yep, great airport. Oh, the Hong Kong Sevens. So that she means the rugby sevens. That's a big event, a sporting event in Hong Kong. It's a rugby tournament. Actually, just this year they moved it to the new Kai Tak Sports Arena. They built a sports arena and a cruise terminal on the site of the old Hong Kong airport. So they did a new sevens this year. Actually, I've been in Hong Kong 20 years and I've never been to the sevens, which I think it's really like a lot of foreigners go there and they drink and get drunk, and well, rugby's never been my thing. It's a Anglo sport, so no, I'm not into that. And then I'm not much of a drinker, to be honest, and I've never had friends who went to the sevens. A lot of my friends are local. My wife is from Hong Kong, and yeah, and even the few foreigners I do know in Hong Kong, they were never into that type of scene or crowd, so never been to the sevens. But it's supposed to be a good time, right? They have a good time with her friends, so cool, good for her. It's something unique experience in Hong Kong. Okay, so she said city, country. It's hard to explain Hong Kong. So Most people do refer to Hong Kong as a city. Technically, that's not correct. Hong Kong is a territory, right? It's a SAR, as I said today, is HKSAR Establishment Day. SAR stands for Special Administrative Region, so that's what Hong Kong is, a Special Administrative Region. It's sometimes labeled as a territory, which, okay, I can take that. Legally, though, there are two cities in Hong Kong. It's Victoria, which is around Hong Kong Island, specifically the area around Central Wan Chai, the northern part of Hong Kong Island. And Kowloon City is legally its own separate city. There's a bunch of new towns, which are, Tsuen Wan or Yuen Long, Tuen Mun, these new towns, Sa Tin, right? These are the new towns in Hong Kong. There's the urban area of Hong Kong, which is outside of the defined cities, but so most of Kowloon, like Mong Kok, Wong Kok, Tsim Sha Tsui, like these areas are the urban areas of Hong Kong, which aren't legally in the boundaries of any of the cities. So, but while it's technically not correct to call Hong Kong a city, it does pretty much function as just one city because Hong Kong it's small, but yet it's bigger than people think. But it is around the size of a city geographically. So yeah, territory or SAR would be more correct. Definitely with all the news and everything, Hong Kong's not a country, even though people have Hong Kong passports, right? People from Hong Kong have Hong Kong passports, which it has its own currency, the Hong Kong dollar. But it's, yeah, territory or SAR would be the correct terminology. So I have to agree with her. Yeah, she's right. Hong Kong, right, is part of China, but it's not part of mainland China. And yeah, Hong Kong has a very different feel to it than mainland China. And if you come to the two places, they are almost night and day. It depends. If you can really see the differences, they're quite stark. But okay, let's see what she has to say. Okay, yeah, so yeah, two different currencies. Hong Kong has its own local currency. Had the same currency since before the handover, and the Hong Kong dollar. She's putting the exchange rates there. Yeah, one renminbi, as she said, RMB, as we usually shorten to, is about 7.2 to the US dollar, and so one US dollar equals 7.2 HKD. That's not correct, which she has on screen. One US dollar is about 7.2 RMB. It's been like that for pretty much, quite a while now. Most of this year. It was a little bit weaker at the start of the year, January of 2025. It was like 7.35-ish, right? And it's gotten now, I think it's just a tad stronger than 7.2, like 7.18. So it's been, but it's been fairly steady around 7.2 for like a year or more, I would say now. Whereas the Hong Kong dollar is pegged to the US dollar. It's been pegged since 1983. It's pegged at 7.75 Hong Kong dollars to the US dollar. Sorry, 7.8 in 1983, and now it's allowed to move within a band only about 20 years now, from 7.75 to 7.85, which is only 10 Hong Kong cents, which is like 1.2 something, 1.3 US cents. So it's not a large band. So the Hong Kong dollar now is a little bit weaker than the RMB, but not by much. It's been fluctuating a little bit, but it's like 9.91, 0.94 to the RMB. So almost, almost, which is, well, it's good for Hong Kong, I guess, because before, like 5 years ago or more, it got more than 5 years now, it got down to like zero point 0.8, actually a little bit lower, I think at the weakest, like 0.79, which made a pretty big difference between the two currencies. If you go way back, when I first came over here, Hong Kong dollar was more than the RMB. So there's been a big range. It's movement in the Chinese currency, whereas the Hong Kong currency has been stable. Yeah, so she doesn't need a visa. Most Westerners don't need a visa to come to Hong Kong. Um, right? Most foreign, actually, I think a lot of foreign countries don't need a visa at all for Hong Kong. Whereas traditionally, you did need a visa for China. Almost everyone needed a visa for China, except for like Japanese and Singaporean passports pre-COVID. Post-COVID now, China has opened up a lot. A lot of countries, well, a lot. There's like, I think it's around 50 countries now don't need a visa at all to enter mainland China. Like for my passport, I don't need a visa now to go to mainland China. It's visa free. So they've opened it up a lot. And even if you do need a visa, like I think British and US passports still need a visa if you want to go to China regularly. But they have a lot of ways to get around that. One of the common ways is to transit via China. So if you fly Hong Kong to Shanghai and then Shanghai to Taipei, then you could do a number of days. It's been increasing. It was like 3 days, and then it was like 5 days. I think now it's up to 10 days. I'm not sure about that. But you can do a transit in mainland China as long as your starting destination and your ending destination are in different countries or territories. So, like I said, Hong Kong, Shanghai, Taipei works. Tokyo, Beijing, Seoul, for instance, that would also work. But you couldn't go San Francisco, Beijing, New York, because San Francisco and New York are both in the US, so it doesn't count, right? But yeah, so then a US passport, a UK passport, a lot of passports that don't get visa free would get visa free to China. So that's changing with China, but still, what I said, 50 places maybe in China you can get visa free. I think it's like 100, over 100 in Hong Kong. I think it's around 150. So a lot more passports can get visa free into Hong Kong than they can to mainland China. So she didn't need a visa, whereas her Chinese friends, let's see what she said. Okay, so Chinese people do need a travel permit to, for mainland Chinese, they do need a travel permit to come to Hong Kong. And yeah, it's usually only a week that they can spend in Hong Kong. It's not a visa, but it functions the same as a visa. So I can forgive her for not knowing the nuances of that. So for the layman, yes, you can say that. Chinese people need a visa to come to Hong Kong. Technically not, but yeah, they do need a special permit to come. So it is more difficult for mainland Chinese to come to Hong Kong than it is for most foreigners to come to Hong Kong. Yeah, actually, WeChat Pay. So they have a Hong Kong has its own WeChat Pay. It's WeChat Pay Hong Kong, and it's not very common here. It is becoming more than it was. Pre-COVID, it was basically non-existent. Like nowhere took it, nowhere accepted it. Pre-COVID, WeChat Pay or WeChat Pay Hong Kong. Now they've expanded it to it's accepted in, I would say, most like big retail stores and most chain stores, convenience stores, 7-Eleven, that stuff. They will accept it. And I think they, yeah, I know, I think, I know they've also expanded it to the Hong Kong MTR, the subway system here, and to most buses. I think most big buses, the mini buses are not as many, but there are some that take it, especially in tourist areas. And a lot of tourist areas will take it now. But then there's also, at least in the past, there was a divide between WeChat Pay for China and WeChat Pay Hong Kong, where they had different QR codes and sometimes that didn't line up. Whereas I think they've mostly fixed that so that you can use both, but it's still not widely accepted in not as widely accepted in Hong Kong as it is in mainland China, and it's not very common for locals to use it. Um, Alipay and Alipay Hong Kong. So Alipay Hong Kong is separate from Alipay in China, and I think there's an international version as well. But Alipay Hong Kong is a little bit more common in Hong Kong than WeChat Pay Hong Kong, but still not as widely accepted as other forms of payments. There's still a much smaller market share, and they're not as big as mainland as they are. The two are in mainland China. Whereas in mainland China, I think WeChat Pay is more common than Alipay in most places. In Hong Kong, it's the reverse. But still, by Hong Kong, it's definitely Octopus Card. Octopus Card is almost universally accepted. Buses, trains, ferries, mini buses, very few minibuses don't accept anymore. And chains, all chains, and most restaurants now accept Octopus Card, pharmacies. You can pay Octopus Card for most things in Hong Kong. All right, so yeah, that's what she says. So yeah, that mobile data roaming SIM cards, yeah, they're more expensive than mainland China. I would still say they're really cheap compared to what you would pay in Western countries, but more expensive than mainland China. You don't need to get a SIM card for mainland China. Most mainland China plans will allow you to do roaming in Hong Kong, but it's probably cheaper for her to get a SIM card. That's exactly what it's called. One country, two systems. So up until July 1st, 1997, right? The first half of 97, they were still a British colony. And then yeah, she's handed back to China. So yeah. And like today, as I said already, is the anniversary of that handover. So that's the agreement. Actually, that's the Sino-British Joint Declaration that was signed in 1984. Right, 1984 they signed it, and that yeah, that it's 50 years of unchanged way of life in Hong Kong until July 1st, 1947. Sorry, until July 1st, 2047. But what's going to happen after that? Still, there's no confirmation. Nobody knows 100%. But the little talk that has been pushed out there is that they're going to leave it the way it is and not change it and keep it past 2047. So I think that's good for Hong Kong, right? To keep it as a separate territory than mainland China. So yeah, so she's not right. Part of us again. That was not part of the agreement. It's just unknown. That could happen. That they could just erase the border and completely absorb Hong Kong into mainland China. That's a possibility, but that's not part of the agreement. And I'm thinking that's less likely at least at this stage. Things could change, but I think it's more likely for them to keep the one country, two systems going past 2047. Yeah, so she said Chinese. She means Mandarin, Mandarin Chinese, and that's the official language in mainland China. And in Hong Kong, the official languages are Chinese and English. They don't define what Chinese means, and de facto it's Cantonese. So the schools in Hong Kong, they can have Chinese medium instruction schools, which means Cantonese, or English medium instruction schools. So those are the two official languages in Hong Kong, and the majority of people speak Cantonese. Alright, skip this. YouTube has been having a lot of ads recently. Way too many, yes. Alright, yeah. Crosswalk in Hong Kong. This should be the sevens. Yeah, sure it is the sevens. Yep, Hong Kong double-decker buses. This looks like it's Nathan Road. And yep, okay, another area of Hong Kong, Dai Pai Dong. Seeing less and less of these in Hong Kong these days. All right, I think that's the Airport Express. Yep, gonna see if I can use this Airport Express. Oh, so no, definitely the Airport Express is not cheaper. It is the fastest way to get to Central, Sure. It's really fast. It's very convenient from the airport as well, but it's actually quite expensive for Hong Kong. The cheapest way to get to the center is, or anywhere in Hong Kong from the airport, is definitely by bus. You go right out and you get a bus. And to be honest, they are slower than this train if you're going to Central. But if you're not going to Central or one of the stops at Airport Express, I think makes its first stop in Qing Yi, which for locals, it's a residential area. People who work in the airport might use that stop. Tourists are almost definitely not going to go to Qing Yi. The next stop is Kowloon Station, and Kowloon Station is technically in Tsim Sha Tsui. Nowadays, they like to call it West Kowloon. But the area, there are some hotels there. There's a Element Shopping Mall, and the West Kowloon Cultural District is nearby there. But it's kind of an awkward area in Hong Kong. It's not almost like disconnected from the rest of Kowloon, and unless you're staying at one of those really expensive hotels above it, it's kind of an inconvenient station to go to. You'd have to transfer to a bus or walk really far or take a taxi from there. So I don't like going to Kowloon Station, although there is an airport check-in there. And then the next station is Central. Central and Hong Kong stations are kind of connected underground, and that is a very convenient location. And if you're staying really close to there, the hotels and place, then yes, I might recommend taking the Airport Express. Otherwise, I would recommend taking the bus. It's cheaper and usually gets you closer to your destination than this train. Okay, I didn't know this discount to pay together. That's interesting. That's pretty good because it is quite expensive. Again, expensive for Hong Kong. I think they recently, just this year, raised the price. I think it was around 100 Hong Kong dollars, and now it's maybe 150-ish. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I have to look it up. $160 RMB for two. Okay, it's cheaper than I thought. Yeah, definitely get an Octopus card in Hong Kong. Octopus card is very convenient. It's more convenient than trying to use those QR code payment systems. It's faster. You tap and go, and you can get it on your phone or a physical card, and you can top it up with the credit card. So it's just more convenient, and it's accepted in most places in Hong Kong. Yeah, it's been a while since I've taken the Airport Express, as I usually will take a bus, or where I live now, it's actually not bad to take a taxi to the airport, which I don't recommend for most people to take an airport taxi, but yeah, in Hong Kong at least. Yeah, it's a nice train, but it's quite crowded when she's there. Two times I've been, it hasn't been that crowded. The weather's not so nice that day she's here, but not too uncommon. Ugh, another ad. So they're going to Central. Okay. Yeah, Central Hong Kong Station. So yeah, I've been right past here many times, although I usually don't go down to Hong Kong Island too much. But yeah, It's one of the bigger stations in Hong Kong. Yeah, it says way too big. Yeah, it is a very big station because it's two stations that are connected, and there's like three different lines that run through there. Yeah, so that is true. Hong Kong hotel rooms are known to be really small. Hong Kong in general, housing is very small and expensive. Yes, hotel rooms are very expensive for Asia. So I think for Western prices, they're kind of on par with Western countries, but much smaller than what you would get for your money. Paid sponsor. Let's see if we can go ahead and skip that. Should be about here. All right. Okay, okay, okay. Um, was the most skyscraper in the world? Yeah, I've heard that statistic. It's true. It depends on, not super tall skyscrapers, but I think the bare minimum definition of what makes a skyscraper, because they're everywhere in Hong Kong, because the building area, the places where they actually build most residential areas in Hong Kong is really small. Most of Hong Kong is actually like country parks and wilderness and stuff, mountains, really good hiking trails in Hong Kong and lots of beaches, lots of islands. There's actually 263 islands in Hong Kong, but the areas where they actually build most residential areas is really small, and so there's a lot of skyscrapers, which yeah, it, it's one of the cool things about Hong Kong. Mm. If 14 stories is your definition of a skyscraper, which I don't think it is, I think it should be a little bit higher, then yeah, almost every building in Hong Kong makes it. Not out where I live, but yeah. Okay, I didn't know that, but I have seen quite a few Rolls Royces riding around on my motorcycle. I know the Peninsula Hotel has a couple, and I usually see a few around Tsim Sha Tsui. I don't know why, but yeah. Milk tea. I actually have a video of me drinking milk tea on here, but Hong Kong milk tea is absolutely my favorite style of milk tea. In fact, before I came to Hong Kong, I didn't. Well, technically, I did have Thai iced tea, which I didn't even realize it was made with milk. We were being kind of ignorant about those type of things. I had tried that before, but in Europe, except for the UK, we do not put milk in tea. And then when I was in the US, they definitely don't put milk in tea. So it's not a Western thing to put milk in tea, where it's really common in Asia. I mentioned this, like Hong Kong has milk tea, Taiwan is famous for their milk tea, Japanese, their matcha lattes, right? Myanmar, they also have their famous milk tea. That was the Milk Tea Alliance, right? Taiwan, Hong Kong, Myanmar, and one other place. But yeah, so yeah, milk tea, very Asian thing in my opinion, and Hong Kong milk tea, number one, best milk tea in the world. Yep, I believe that, and I agree with that. Hong Kong milk tea, my favorite. Absolutely love it. Okay, this is the Island Line. Yeah, Island Line is really packed, and you really have to squeeze in sometimes. Sure, especially if you're there during rush hour. Hong Kong Island Line, one of the older lines in Hong Kong as well. Yeah. So the northern part of Hong Kong Island is all along the coast, and then just behind this like small strip of really urban built up areas, which is only a few streets wide, really. You start going up to the mountains, and the southern half of Hong Kong Island is not as densely populated and not so urbanized, and there's a lot of hiking trails back there. One of the things that makes Hong Kong really amazing. Surprised she hasn't mentioned how the traffic flows the opposite direction from mainland China. I don't know about the swearing thing. Hong Kongers are quite known for swearing a lot in both English and Cantonese, but definitely, yeah, technically there's a fine for feeding wild animals, which I've seen people feeding the wild monkeys in Hong Kong, even though there's a big sign next to them that says it's a $10,000 fine for doing it. So I don't recommend it, and I wouldn't advise you to do it, but I don't think it's that widely enforced. If you now you talk about eating in the subway, that is pretty strictly enforced. I actually saw a secondary school student getting in trouble one time for eating like a piece of candy on the MTR. I guess that's kind of true. I don't know about too organized. I mean, Hong Kong is more organized than mainland China, but it also has a bit of its own chaotic charm to it. Cool bus. Oh, it's the tram. So that's I think in North America they call it a streetcar. In Hong Kong it's called a tram. Although in Cantonese it's the ding ding che. Ding ding is the sound it makes. Ding ding che. So yeah, cool. It's definitely not a tour bus. It's definitely the tram. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. To me, they don't look that old. They look a little bit worn out, but I think still look really cool. I agree with that. Yeah. Oh yeah, Hong Kong is known for a few specialties. The bolo bao, which is the Hong Kong pineapple bun, the milk tea, which you already mentioned, dan tak, which is Hong Kong style egg tarts, and quite a few other things. I think I recently heard they're trying to make gok ju pa fan, the Hong Kong baked pork chop rice, as one of the cultural heritage of Hong Kong, which to me, it's a very common dish here in Hong Kong, but I can see how that, maybe it could be. I think it's Dai Golok that wants to do it, which I don't know. I think it could be a culture heritage thing, but maybe not Dai Golok's version. Mm. Yeah, that's why she's here, Visa Rome. So she keeps calling it a tour bus on the rail. It's not a tour bus. It is public transportation. It's one of the cheapest forms of transportation in Hong Kong, and it's the tram or the streetcar. I mean, the trams are a cheap way to get around Hong Kong Island, only the northern part of Hong Kong Island. Mm. So it's not really a tourist area. This is the north, like keep saying, northern part of Hong Kong. I'm not sure which area she's in. I think it's, you know, She took the island line. I think maybe there was one time she got out, one time at the basketball courts around that area. And I mean, tourists I think do go through that area, but it's not like a special tourist spot. I don't know why it's ridiculous to her. I mean, I guess I've been here for so long and I've always expected them to be different. That, yeah, it is really like night and day when you cross the border between Hong Kong and mainland China. They are so very, very different. The currency is different. The telecoms are different. They have different country codes, right? Hong Kong's country code is 852, China's is 86. Different currencies, the different country codes, the languages are different. The people drive on the opposite side of the road. The food tastes very different. So yeah, it's night and day when you cross the border, sure. But I've always expected them to be like that. So it's just about. You don't know what to expect. I mean, it's this big city like any other big city. Okay. More ads. YouTube really needs to cut down on the ads. Yeah, it is very small, but that's typical Hong Kong. Okay. I mean, it's functional. It's small, but it's got everything you need. Yeah, AC is a must in Hong Kong. It's so hot in Hong Kong. Okay, actually, that's not bad for Hong Kong. That's actually, I mean, it's not cheap, but it's not that bad. I can't believe she hasn't turned the AC on yet. What? What is she talking about? I mean, it's not brand new, but it's like a normal AC. Yeah, yeah, you see some of these old food stalls still around in Hong Kong. That's cool. Okay, she's going to the new Kai Tak Stadium. Yeah, Carlsberg. Carlsberg's everywhere in Hong Kong. Yeah, the stadium looks really nice. I actually haven't been here yet, although I don't see why I would. Uh, Maybe one day, some event, I'll check it out. Yeah, looks like she's having a good time. I don't know about that. Mm. So I think yeah, this is the Admiralty Station. I was gonna say it looks like Admiralty Station, and now I can see. Here's the Chun Wan line, the Island line. The Chun Wan line only comes into Admiralty and Central, and then I can see the interchange, the South Island line, which is for me it's a new station, although I think it's been up there for yeah, it's been up there pre-COVID. It was open pre-COVID, but I think I've only rode on it once ever. And then here is for the East Rail Line, which to me, it's still really relatively recent, relatively new that it crosses the harbor because that's a whole big thing. That's the old KCR, and now it crosses the harbor. So yeah, Admiralty Station, go to Central Station. So that's just one stop. Oh, still buying a ticket. Uh, you know what? I never bought a ticket like this in Hong Kong. In 20 years, I've never bought a ticket like this. I've always just used my Octopus card. Yeah, yeah, that's a 10 Hong Kong dollar bill. It's actually the only denomination that's both a coin and a bill and a note, but it's also the only one that's the polymer, which is the plastic, right? Like Australian or Vietnamese currency. It's the only denomination that's plastic like that. So yeah, okay, that's the single ride ticket. Okay, tap it like an octopus card. It's usually a little bit more expensive to buy the single ride ticket. Then you get a little bit of a discount if you use the Octopus card. Although I remember seeing one year that they said like, well, it was always cheaper with Octopus card. They raised the price, and I think for certain destinations it was sometimes cheaper with the single ride ticket, but that's unusual. I think it had to do with the fact that they raised it by 50 cent minimum like increases with the single ride ticket, where they did it by the 10 cent increases with the Octopus card. So sometimes they didn't raise it the full 50 cents, where but it comes out to like tens of Hong Kong cents different. So basically nothing anymore. Yeah, not so crowded. Yes, Hong Kong is very clean compared to big cities in the West. Sure. I wouldn't say it's quite Singapore or Japan clean, but close, very close. And in general, I would say Hong Kong is cleaner than mainland China, although mainland Chinese stations are like if you go to Shenzhen, they're much newer and maybe a bit cleaner, but overall, I don't know. I don't know. It's a tough comparison, but I prefer Hong Kong. Monkey tree, see those advertisements it's everywhere. Yeah, I've never used those ticket machines except to a long time ago. I used to add money to my Octopus card using the machine sometimes. Rarely though. I used to go to 7-Eleven to add, but now it's just all through my credit card on my phone. Yeah, double decker buses. Yeah. Okay, yeah, this is Hong Kong Island still. I think she spent most of her time in Hong Kong Island, which is an area of Hong Kong I don't get to too much. Oh, I've been to this park once, like, oh, 10 years or so ago. Can't remember the name. Is it Tamar Park? I think it's Tamar Park, but I'm not sure about that. You have to get WeChat Pay Hong Kong. Okay, so yeah, WeChat Pay Hong Kong. You can use it as a foreigner. Whole year's salary. She has to be exaggerated. Oh, that's a bit expensive. I mean, I think a third of that is more common in a lot of places, but I think at the sevens they jack up the price. Hmm. Yeah, Long Kwai Fong, another place I haven't been to in a long time, but that is like the main party district in Hong Kong. shortened to LKF, and lots of bars and pubs and mini clubs. They're not really clubs, but there are some dancing going on. A lot of people drinking on the street. Yeah, Visa, MasterCard. There's very few places you have to use cash in Hong Kong nowadays. Everything is Octopus card or credit card for the most part. Only some very, very small shops might be cash only. They usually accept Octopus though. Yeah, that I agree with. Hong Kong is very, very different from mainland China. It is a really interesting place to explore. Yeah, I'm trying to see if this. No, I thought she was somewhere else, but that's a cool looking street she's on. Nowadays, you can just use a eSIM, right? Most people can use an eSIM for data, but if you want a local number, if you want to make calls, sure, get a SIM card. Yeah, Hong Kongers have a reputation for not being so friendly, but I don't think it's that well deserved. I think they just have that type of, busy, get on with your life kind of attitude, go where you're going to go. But I don't think they're as unfriendly as the reputation that they have. So I think Hong Kongers can be friendly and helpful, especially if you speak a little Cantonese. Even if you can't speak fluently, if you try, I think they warm up to you. Peak Tram. Yep, Peak Tram is one of the must-see for tourists to go up to the top of Victoria Peak and the Hong Kong Harbor, second to none. I think the view of the Hong Kong skyline from Tsim Sha Tsui is the number one skyline in the world. The only other one that comes close, in my opinion, is the New York City skyline. Amazing. I don't think any other cities are in that league. Uh, Maybe the next level down is like Shanghai, couple maybe I can't even think of any others, but Shanghai's not New York or Hong Kong's level. But most very few cities around the world have these as an iconic skyline as Hong Kong. Okay. So yeah, actually, a lot of the times I watch these travel videos and my first reaction video, but I watch travel videos, I'm really kind of put off by what a lot of people say or think, especially when it's a place I feel like I know. But I think she did a pretty good job. So thanks for watching my first reaction video. If you guys like it, please leave me a comment down below and tell me if I should make some more about people traveling to Hong Kong. And if you like my channel, like and subscribe. Thank you.